So I finally bit the bullet and thought about ordering this Magic Keyboard with Touch ID. But let me be downright straight with you, because this keyboard is quite expensive. It's about 140 bucks, and the build quality is not that what you can expect of Apple. Even the unbox experience is not that what you can expect of Apple, so I'm not sure if this is a return product or not. So let's give it the benefit of the doubt and see what's actually inside of it. So as expected, we are greeted by the actual keyboard. Furthermore, what's inside this box is the braided lightning cable. That's quite a surprise, since Apple transitioned from the lightning port, or actually the lightning cable, to a USB-C cable. I guess they continue to ship other products with a lightning cable up until maybe next year. We have also some paperwork, and that's basically it. So like I said, the build quality of this keyboard is not that great. It feels very light, and some may consider that as a plus, because yeah, you can just toss it in your backpack and you don't have to deal with the weight of that keyboard. But if we place it next to the Keychron or a good mechanical keyboard, it feels very cheap. As you see here, it fits right into my hand palm. And again, some might prefer that. They want to have something small that they can just travel with. And others think, well, if I just pay top dollars for something, I want to have something that's durable and sturdily built. Speaking of other keyboards, I've been using this Logitech keyboard for years, and it served me very well. Up until recently, when I bought the Studio Display, I found out that that Logitech keyboard is not entirely compatible with the Studio Display. For example, if I try to crank the display brightness up, that doesn't work rightly from the keyboard. What's funny though is that when I turn the volume up and down, that does work from the keyboard. So there is this discrepancy between the compatibility of the keyboard with the display. But when it comes to the Magic Keyboard, all functionality works just like you expect it to. The second reason why I ordered this Magic Keyboard is because it has Touch ID. And simply as that, I hate typing my password every single time, especially when that password is generated by Apple itself. So it's a difficult password, it's not an easy one, and I just want to have, with a touch on a button, I just want to unlock my screen, or maybe make a purchase on the Apple Store and stuff like that. I don't want to repeatedly fill in that password every single time. And I should say it works very great. Setting up a fingerprint is very familiar. You've done that a ton of times with the iPhone, and with this Magic Keyboard, it works exactly the same. Before you can set up a fingerprint, you need to fill in your password as expected. And as you see here, with lifting and resting my finger on that Touch ID button, my Touch ID is generated. So let's see how fast it works. So clicking on that button will lock your MacBook. And if you want to unlock it, it's simply resting your finger on that Touch ID, and it's very fast. In a split of a second, I've unlocked my MacBook. Now, is it reason enough to pay 140 bucks for just that functionality? Well, the short answer is no, but I wanted to have this streamlined workflow that I don't have to fill in my password every single time, especially when you have a MacBook that goes on lock screen every 2 minutes if it's untouched. The key travel distance is about 1 millimeter, and to be honest with you, I kind of expected that. Especially if we look at how thick this keyboard is, it's basically not thick at all. And as you can hear, it produced quite a clicky sound. So I think that's good enough to have a satisfying typing experience. But I should say it's not that satisfying of the clickiness of the Logitech keyboard. And while the Logitech keyboard does have some strengths, it also has some limitation. One of those limitations are basically the compatibility with Apple products. I mean, it's not that bad, let me tell you that, but it's not compatible as the Magic Keyboard. As you see here, I can just crank up the display brightness up and down without any problem. But with the Logitech keyboard, it kind of have some limitations. But enough about the Logitech keyboard. This isn't a comparison between the Magic Keyboard and the Logitech keyboard. One thing I need to tell you about the Magic Keyboard is that it's a huge dust collector. Especially if you buy the white version, it inevitably will collect dust. There's one thing I need to touch on before closing this video, and that's the compatibility with the iPad and even the iPhone. The Magic Keyboard will connect to the iPad very quickly. The downside though is that you can't connect the Magic Keyboard with your MacBook and iPad at the same time. It's not like the Logitech keyboard. Logitech keyboard does have numbers that you can assign those devices to. So for example, if I assign the number 1 to my MacBook and number 2 to an iPad, for example, that transition will happen just by clicking those buttons. But with the Magic Keyboard, rather, you don't have that option, and it's quite limited, especially because it's Apple. I bet Apple will be able to incorporate that very easily to the Magic Keyboard, but they don't do so. So as you see here, I try to connect my Magic Keyboard to my iPad, and I try not to edit this clip way too much, just to give you a sense of how long it can take before connecting the Magic Keyboard to the iPad. It's not super fast. I needed to disconnect it with my MacBook before I can connect it with the iPad, but after doing so, it got connected to my iPad very quickly. As you see here, I'm opening a doc from Google Docs, and it works as a charm. There is no delay between the Magic Keyboard and between me typing on the Magic Keyboard and having those sentences being visible on screen. It goes immediately. So if you have a Magic Keyboard laying around, you don't actually have to buy the iPad Magic Keyboard. That one is about $340. You just have to buy this one. It's a small device that you can toss it in your backpack, having an iPad along with it, and you can take notes if you are a student or if you are someone who's taking notes for his work. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. I hope you've got something out of it. If you have any questions, as always, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer everyone's question. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.